Good evening and welcome to FYI. For your information, your go-to show for community empowerment, advice and support from Wolverhampton. Now, I'm your host, Alvina Ali, and every week we shine a spotlight on people, organisations and services working hard to support our communities. Now, tonight we're talking about something that affects every single one of us, water. Now, we turn on the tap without thinking twice, but did you know that although the Earth is known as a blue planet, less than 1% of the world's water is fresh and accessible for human use? Now, saving water is essential to make sure there's enough for everyone, not just today, but for future generations too. It protects our environment, strengthens our communities, and even helps reduce the impact of climate change. So joining me today to talk about water saving, water meters and the support available for households is the lovely Sam, who is the External Relationships Coordinator from Severn Trent Water. Sam, welcome to FYI.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me back again. It's wonderful to be back.
You're welcome. Water is a never-ending subject, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And what a fantastic intro you gave as well. That
Thank
was brilliant. And it is. And, coming up to the time of year again where we're sending out the annual bills to a lot of our customers.
Yeah.
And, bills start again like council tax, energy bills are going up,
yes.
rent's going up, everything's going up. And we are in this everlasting cost of living crisis, and so it's so important that people are aware out there, our communities are aware of what help every organisation can give. So I'll be talking a lot today about the help to pay schemes that Severn Trent have got, water meters, and just support in general.
Lovely. Okay, I think what we'll do is, I know many people think that water is always available, so let's talk about saving water. Why is it important?
Yes. It's so important. I think when you opened up, you were saying, how less than 1% of people have access to fresh water. And, we only have one planet. And I always stress to my children that there are times, and we all know there's been times across all water companies where they've had to do hose pipe bans because we are running out of fresh water in the area. And I think we need to be aware more than ever. I always go back to 2020 and it was COVID, the beginning of a pandemic. We had a lot of people working from home during that time, a lot of more washing, paddling pools. It was a glorious summer, more water was being used, but quite a few of the water companies across the UK went straight into incident mode because people were at home more using water, and it became really apparent that it is crucial that we all become more aware of what we're using water for and making sure that, I say to my children all the time, don't leave the tap running when you're brushing your teeth, or think twice about do you need to have a full bath if you're just going to be in there for 2 minutes? Can you just get a shower and using a shower timer? And I think if we all just did our one little bit, it makes such a difference overall.
That's really interesting. So you talked about some of the water saving measures there. So what are the simple ways that households can get involved and get their children involved to save water then?
So we do have things like I've got a little shower timer. You can buy them really inexpensive online as well. And there's ones for 2 minutes where the children can brush their teeth. And it's great, actually. One, for saving water. Two, to make sure that they are brushing their teeth for 2 minutes. And with the shower timer as well, it made me more aware that I can sometimes switch the shower on, get very distracted, walk away, come back 10 minutes later, have my shower, and actually I've probably used like 4 times as much water than I needed to.
Yes.
I'm on a water meter, so I need to be really aware, both because I want to save water, but also for my pocket as well. That water is literally money going down the drain.
It is.
So it's just making sure that you're aware and children are aware, and I make it a little game when they brush their teeth, just to make sure that they're using the little timer. Turn the water off as quick as you can do. And there's little things like being aware. Speaking to our water efficiency team, so a lot of people wouldn't notice if their tap was dripping
Oh.
or if their toilet was leaking.
Okay.
So I myself, if you've got the middle flusher toilets, I always say to customers, just do a really quick check for a leak. And that is to scrunch up some toilet paper, pop
Okay.
it on the back of your toilet system or
Okay.
in the pot, and see if it goes wet. Now, it shouldn't go wet if you haven't flushed the toilet, but if it does, it means that there's a small leak there.
Yeah.
Now, that leak you wouldn't necessarily see, but it could add up to £90 onto your water bill every year, and that's a huge amount. And with a dripping tap, the same. If you were to leave, we go back to the toothbrush, if you leave the tap on whilst you're brushing your teeth, that's £50 extra on estimate a year. So there's small things that you can do where you think, gosh, would that actually make a difference to my water bill? And yes, it
does, doesn't it? Yeah.
It absolutely does. And we've got some great water saving tips on our website as well, as well as all the other great information.
Okay, should we just quickly mention the website where people can tap into?
Absolutely. So the website is stwater.co.uk, and there's lots of tips on there. You can apply for a water meter. You can have a look at help to pay with your bills. If you're an organisation or a community group that are listening in and you would like me to attend or one of my team, you can get in touch. So if you go on to stwater.co.uk, if you type in the words external relationships, our page comes up and you can just send us an email and we can come out, we can deliver all the information on our help to pay schemes. I said before about water meters, and I'll mention that before I forget. So water meters, a lot of people have always been really worried about going onto a water meter, thinking my bill's going to increase. I'm going to be really worried about switching the tap on. 3 in 5 households that have switched to a water meter are actually benefiting.
Okay.
And when we're having a look at our help to pay schemes as well, so for example, we've done some great work over the winter months with Wolverhampton Homes, with the energy clinics.
Yes.
And it's about educating residents and giving them information about how they can save money, how they can save water.
Yeah.
And there were some households that we spoke to where they were a single occupier paying quite a high fixed rate, for around £1,200. And there were 2 households that came to me, and these people were single occupiers. So we discussed a water meter with them. Now it's absolutely free to have a water meter fit, and you can opt to revert back to the rateable value within the first 12 months of having the meter.
Okay.
For those single occupiers, what we did is not only did we fit the meter, but we discussed a help to pay scheme that we have called the Big Difference scheme.
Okay.
Now, because their household income was below the threshold for that, they actually got a £390 discount, which covered their entire metered water bill for the year.
That's amazing.
And it's important for me to make sure that message is out there, because a lot of people don't know that. One, they can have a water meter which is fitted for free.
Yeah.
And they also don't know about the help to pay schemes that Severn Trent have got as well for those low income households. And I'll go back to what I said at the very beginning. It's more important than ever when at this time of year all the bills are going up. Everybody feels very, very stretched, and it's about where can you cut back, and it's for some families they simply can't cut back. So it's having a look then at where can organisations help, and where can they save money and get the great advice and support as well that we can give.
I think, okay, so that's great. So a water meter is suitable for occupancies of 1 to 2 people then?
In cases where there's a single occupier or 2 people living in a property, absolutely have a look. Speak to us, have a look at what you're paying on your rateable value, because the chances are, yes, you are going to benefit from having a water meter. And that's not to say families wouldn't benefit from having a water meter. What we've got to look at is how much are you paying on your rateable value, your fixed amount, because that is regardless of how much water you're using. And what we do is we do an estimate of what we believe that you would use. As I say, once that's fit absolutely free. You do get the 12 months that it's first fit for to revert back.
If it's not suitable.
If it's not, if you're finding that it's just not saving you. And that's the main reason why people would switch. It comes down to finances. And if you're not happy, you can just switch back to rateable value. What's great now, we have such smart technology, absolutely blows my mind. So when you get smart meters fitted in now, because they're feeding constant meter readings back to us, we can very quickly spot if there's been a leak at the property as well.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
So as I say, it blows my mind what technology we have nowadays. But there's so much, I think, that is available to our customers that they might not be aware of. And I think especially if it's the first time that you're ever paying a bill, you've just moved into your first property, there's quite a lot of information to take in when you're just moving. Any time of life, and I think it's not necessarily information that you would even look for. People don't associate Severn Trent with giving white goods away, but we do have a scheme that you can apply for where we do have funding set aside to help with white appliances. We have funding for electric blankets during the winter months. And it's not necessarily what you would think when you think Severn Trent. You just think a water bill, but there's so much more that is out there, and also the great relationships that we have with other organisations. So I work in the Wolverhampton area. And there's many organisations that I work with. So if I come across a customer that needs help with their water bill and they meet the criteria for one of our schemes, the likelihood is that they'll meet the criteria for energy help as well. And there's great organisations. Again, you can have white goods, you can have debt help. They can check your tariffs to make sure that you're paying the right amount. And so we're working together to make sure we give an wraparound care, support and advice.
Okay. What about if somebody's suffering from debt and there's somebody who's got medical conditions? What sort of help can you provide?
So the customer assistance scheme that we have, that helps with debt advice, and it can also look at income maximisation.
Okay.
So again, looking at the income side of things, you wouldn't necessarily think your water company would help you with finding the missing benefits. But I've talked to many residents around Wolverhampton who are sound as though they're entitled to PIP, but they don't know where to go. They might not have access to the internet. It might feel really daunting that they've got to fill in all of the forms. So we partner with an organisation called Ariga, and we do all of the referrals in. Ariga will contact them and they'll do all the form filling for them. Again, that's where they'll be asked about the white goods as well. With any debt help, they'll have a look at prioritising the debt. They'll have a look at budgeting plans, and they'll speak about like incomings and outgoings. And it's as I said before, like taking the first step, I think, to talking about debt. Sometimes for customers that I've spoken to, they've come to me and said, I've waited too long, but I had my head in the sand because I didn't know where to turn to, and water wasn't a priority debt for them, and it took a lot for them to even open the envelope when they know that they've got a reminder through the door. So to have us in the local community, to have a face that they can familiarise themselves with and come to us or ring us, have access online and go through the different advice and support that we can help with is just amazing.
Brilliant. Now, going back on water meters,
Yes.
I know with new builds, they put the water meters out in the street. Going back to traditional properties then, what happens if you can't fit a water meter?
So if you can't fit a water meter, we can have a look at another rate which is called assessed tariff.
Okay.
So what we would do is we'd have a look at the average amount a metered property of that type would pay, and we would simply put you onto that tariff. It's not to say that you couldn't have a water meter fit in the future. You know, things change, technology changes as well. But for now, we do have the assessed tariff. So if you think, I'm on a joint supply, maybe my pipework isn't set up correctly for a
Yeah.
meter, we can come by, we can check that out for you. It's absolutely free to do that, as I said before. And there is the assessed tariff that you would go on to. If you were already paying less than the assessed tariff, we wouldn't switch you, because the aim of the game is to save you money at the end of the day. So we would never switch if you were going to pay more. But the likelihood is that you would pay less on the assessed tariff.
And I believe we have Raj in the studio as well. I believe you wanted to ask a question to Sam as well.
Indeed, if I may.
Of course.
I've done a lot of work over the years with Alvina on properties and with electric meters. We live in a world now where, because the readings are taken literally every minute,
Yes.
we can say to people, why don't you program your washing machine in the evening when all the factories, businesses are closing down, and we've got a lot more electricity available?
Yes.
Can you do that with water in any way?
So with the rates for the water, doesn't matter what time of day you put that washing machine on, you will get the same rate applied. So gas and electric companies, they'll have different tariffs, different rates. You can do your ironing at 2 o'clock in the morning for cheaper, but with water it is one standard amount, regardless of when it is.
And did you say that the meters are read automatically?
So every 6 months we come out and read the meter. Now we have radio read meters now, so we don't even need to come into the property. For smart meters, yes, they will send meter readings straight to us, so we can track the usage then. And if we see anything that doesn't quite look right, then we can raise a job to come out and check out what's going on there. We also do, with, say your toilet was leaking, we can do very simple leak fixtures on toilets as well, absolutely free. And again, people would think, oh no, I've got to get a plumber out to do that, and they might put that job off because it costs them money. But fear not, Severn Trent, again, we have a team, the water efficiency team, that will come out and they will fix that leak if they can do. If you do have a leak at the property that you're worried about, if you go onto our website, so that's stwater.co.uk, one of the boxes on the front screen is to record the leak, send it to us, and then we'll have a look at that and contact you back as well to see if it is something that we can fix. Because we don't want any water being wasted, but we appreciate that when you see a leak, the first thing that you think is, how much is it going to cost me? And Severn Trent are there to help.
Okay, excellent. So do you see a future where time of day charging will change? So, for example, not a lot of people use water in the middle of the night. People on a shift, on a different sort of shift, maybe they could be given cheaper water because nobody else is using it.
It's definitely not something that we have discussed as a company, but you never know with the water industry or any utility. It could change in a heartbeat. So it could be, in a few years to come, a possibility. At the moment, there's no talks about that. And luckily, Severn Trent are the cheapest water company across the UK. But you never know. Can't promise anything with that.
I'll ask one more question if we have time.
Yeah, feel free. Yeah, we've got.
Okay, then. So, my understanding is in countries like France, the water is not quite good enough to drink all the time. So that's why bottled water is very, very popular in those kind of countries.
Yeah.
Do you see a future maybe where we might have two pipes, one that's good enough to drink and one that's only really for filling the toilet or for...
I think that would probably... the water that we supply should be good enough to drink.
Oh, yeah.
At all times. And I think that with the infrastructure, it would probably... Any big changes like that, what we wouldn't want to do is put the costs onto the customer when we've got infrastructure that kind of works at the moment, and we should always be delivering fresh, clean, drinkable water to our customers. So,
but it doesn't have to be that good to wash your car with, does it?
I think no, my car hasn't been washed in a very long time. But I think because it would be a different infrastructure that would need to put into place.
For new houses and new
Yeah.
builds and so on. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know the
think.
details.
I mean, I don't see that. Again, not my side of the business, I suppose. So somebody could one day have that idea, but it's an additional infrastructure to put into place that we wouldn't want to put unnecessary money onto customers' bills to cover the cost of that. Yeah, you never know. I won't say.
I know there are some conscientious people who collect rainwater.
They do. So
I don't know if there's a system you could implement to say we've got a standard rainwater kit.
yeah.
that we will
water
give
butt.
you, and we
Water
will
butts,
even if it's just a water butt.
They can have a look at discounts for water butts online. I have a water butt myself, and I do find, because I love gardening, and before I had the water butt, you could tell with seasonal usage that I was watering the garden, because you're out there with the hose pipe. You probably only use about a cubic meter of water in an hour using the hose pipe. Again, I think people, especially on water meters, they think, gosh, I can't water the garden ever again because it's going to cost me so much. It costs about £4 for an hour of that hose pipe being on. You probably don't need it on for an hour, not with a garden my size, but if you've got a field, absolutely.
Yeah.
But again, it's that mindset of I can't switch this on because it's going to cost me, and we don't want people to be afraid of turning on their taps and using water.
Do you have an example of what it might cost to wash your car for 10 minutes with a hose pipe?
Oh,
Getting a bit technical.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be summer soon, and people
Yeah.
will be
Yeah,
washing their cars.
As I say, to have the hose pipe on for about an hour, it's going to cost you less than £4. If you've only got it on for 10 minutes, ideally you only need about 4 buckets of water for your car. So it's going to be pence that you're paying. Again, though, if you were to go down to your car wash, when I'm feeling very lazy and I go to the car wash, probably cost me about £10. So I know I'm adding on the wax and everything onto that.
Yeah.
But I could make my children do that and give them the pocket money for it and save myself money still from the water that I'm using at home. So I think it's just being very aware of what water saving devices are out there. Water butts is such a good shout, the timers, and just being really clued up and really educated on how much things are costing you and where you could be wasting water in the house, which is inevitably wasting money.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that. Sam, if anybody wants to get in touch with you and have you at their events, how's the best way to get in touch with you?
So go to stwater.co.uk, search for external relationships, and it'll take you straight to the page. Go right down to the bottom, and there is a form to fill in, and it'll be me that has a look at it if it's in the Wolverhampton area.
Lovely. So thank you for that, Sam. So together we have learnt something really important. Although water surrounds our planet, the amount we can actually use is limited. Now, saving water isn't just about lowering bills. It's about protecting our environment, supporting resilient communities, and also making sure future generations have access to this precious resource as well. So a huge thank you to Sam Ball from Severn Trent Water for sharing practical advice and explaining the support available through their Help to Pay schemes as well. Now, if you'd like more information about Severn Trent Water, water meters, water saving tips, or even support with your bills, visit the Severn Trent Water website, as Sam has stated. And remember, every drop really counts. So until the future next FYI, for now, we are going to end the show, and I shall see you soon, and always stay empowered and take care.